Hey babies, welcome back to another Deck Tech and Modern League video. This week we're playing CoCo tokens, which if you pay attention to my Twitter, I actually came across a few weeks ago from a player named HaiWa, and I had a ton of fun playing against their deck and seeing what it does, and they were nice enough to let me see their list and make a video with it. This deck is centered around making a ton of value off of creating food, treasure, and clue tokens, and snowballing out of control before your opponent can deal with it. For starters, the core of the deck is 4 copies of Lannis Cryptozoologist, 4 copies of Academy Manufactor, and 4 copies of Chatterfang Squirrel General. All of these cards synergize heavily with each other and help us produce more tokens. Lannis says whenever another non-token creature enters the battlefield under our control, we investigate, and it also has an ability that lets us sacrifice clues to play cards off the top of our opponent's deck. Academy Manufactor says if we would create a clue, food, or treasure token, we create one of each instead. And very importantly, if you get multiple Academy Manufactors in play at the same time, the replacement effect stacks multiplicatively, so if you have 2 of them, you're getting 9 tokens each time that you make 1 token, and so on. And Chatterfang says whenever 1 or more tokens are created under our control, we get that many tokens plus that many 1/1 green squirrels, and it also has an ability that lets us sacrifice squirrels to either buff or kill creatures depending on how many we sacrifice. For our mana dorks, we're playing 4 copies of Birds of Paradise and 4 copies of Gilded Goose. Birds of Paradise, of course, is just a really good way to use our turn 1 to skip right to turn 3, and also fix our colors of mana. And Gilded Goose plays a similar role to Birds, although it's a little bit worse at ramping. It synergizes very well with our token creators. We have 2 copies of Cauldron Familiar for Witch's Oven and food-related shenanigans, and 3 copies of a relatively new card, Galagreeters, which says whenever another creature enters the battlefield under our control, we choose one that hasn't been chosen yet this turn, out of putting a +1/+1 counter on Galagreeters, creating a tapped treasure token, and gaining 2 life. Because it creates treasure tokens, it works very well with Manufactor, but I think the most interesting synergy with Galagreeters is Chatterfang, because if you use the Galagreeters trigger to get a treasure token with Chatterfang in play, you get a squirrel and get another trigger on Galagreeters. We're playing 3 copies of Grist as a creature/planeswalker depending on what zone it's in. That gives us the options to chump block our opponent's creatures by making insects, trade off some of our creatures for removal, and possibly steal a game from our opponent with a large enough Grist ult. 2 copies of Tireless Tracker of course work very well with our token generators, but also there's a fun synergy with Lannis because Lannis lets you sacrifice any amount of clues for no mana. You can put as many counters on Tireless Tracker as you want, and 1 copy of another card from Streets of New Capenna, Jenny Faye Jetmir II, which gives us an optional replacement effect where whenever we would create 1 or more tokens, we may instead create that many 2/2 green cat creatures with haste or 3/1 dogs with vigilance. Usually we're making 2/2s and hoping to close out the game immediately when we get it into play. For our non-creature spells, we're playing 2 copies of Witch's Oven, which synergizes really well of course with Cauldron Familiar, but also works great with Chatterfang because we can sacrifice a squirrel to get a squirrel and a food. And 4 copies of Collected Company at the top of our curve gives us some card advantage and digs through our deck. Getting into our mana base is where things start to get really weird, I think, with this deck. We have 2 copies of Urza's Saga. The constructs get very large when we have a lot of tokens in play, and they also tutor out our Witch's Ovens for us. We have 1 copy of Otawara as a flexible interactive/bounce effect. 1 copy of Dryad Arbor and 1 copy of Gingerbread Cabin both give us the option to turn a fetch land into value if we have either Lannis or Academy Manufactor in play respectively. Speaking of fetches, we're playing 4 copies of Misty Rainforest and 4 copies of Verdant Catacombs. We have 3 copies of Blooming Marsh, 2 copies of Breeding Pool, and 2 Overgrown Tombs, 2 basic forests, 1 basic island, and 1 basic swamp. In our sideboard, we're playing Gigantha as our companion because it's a free roll, 2 copies of Fatal Push in case we need more spot removal, 2 copies of Thoughtseize for combo and counterspell decks, 2 Nile Spellbombs for graveyard interaction, and 1 Pithing Needle for interacting with activated abilities, both of which we can get with our Urza's Sagas, 1 copy of Engineered Explosives, mostly if we have to clear up a bunch of 0-drops, 2 Scavenging Ooze for graveyard interaction, 2 copies of Reclamation Sage as a disenchant effect that we can get with Collected Company and also triggers Lannis, and 2 copies of Force of Vigor as some additional artifact and enchantment interaction. And that's the deck tech. Let me know what you think of the deck in the comments. I've had a lot of fun playing this deck. The only real downside I've seen is Moto starts getting very crashy when you have a lot of permanents in play. But let's get into the game. Right, round 1 with CoCo tokens. Let's reveal Gigantha. Our opponent won the die roll, unfortunately. This hand's not so bad. We have a couple mana creatures. We have 3 lands, so we're a little heavy on mana. We have Chatterfang and we have Collected Company. Seems fine. This hand goes turn 1 Birds of Paradise, turn 2 Chatterfang, turn 3 CoCo. Most likely. Looks like we're playing against a Murktide deck. Let's see what they saw with their Mishra's Bauble. They saw Bop. Okay. Let's get Breeding Pool, shock it in, show them a Bop. And I assume they're going to bolt it. They don't, they consider. Okay. Maybe they bolt on their turn instead. Or maybe they just hold off on it entirely. Okay, now they bolt. That makes sense. So this turn, we're going to play 2 more Birds of Paradise. Let's get a basic forest this time. Conserve our life total a little bit since they are a red deck after all. Play Birds of Paradise, play Birds of Paradise. I hope that they tap in such a way that they can't counter a Collected Company. If we get to cast one here. That would be very nice. Doesn't look like we get the chance to do that right now. Let's go Swamp. Do I play out the Gilded Goose? Playing out Gilded Goose could let me go Chatterfang into CoCo next turn, so I think I do, if they don't remove any of these. And if they ever tap down at least enough that I feel safe going for a Collected Company, I will. Until then, we can just keep holding it up. Opponent shocks, gets a Ledger Shredder, and passes. Okay. We draw Gallagrators. Let's cast the Gallagrators. That might get the counterspell out of their hand. Perhaps. No. Verdant Catacombs. Do I want to go for Chatterfang? I don't think so. And I'd rather not give them a Connive trigger if I can help it. I don't like Gigantha for specifically this reason, because it looks suspicious that we held up our mana instead of putting Gigantha in our hand. That's my main gripe with that card in this deck, I think. Opponent attacks for 1. Okay. Okay. Let's fetch. Hopefully to get them to use some interaction, get Dryad Arbor. Get a Gallagrators trigger. We're going to... Let's put a counter on Graders. And let's go ahead and make a food token as well. Okay. Academy Manufacturer. Cast Manufacturer. Opponent plays a counter spell. Okay. They have 2 cards in hand. Do I think they have a Spell Pierce? I think I have to make them have it. Sack of food, cast CoCo. They get a Connive trigger, so they have effectively 3 cards in hand. Let's see if they have a Spell Pierce, though. They get rid of a Lightning Bolt, and it looks like they do have it. That's unfortunate. So they get another Connive trigger. Okay. Well, we still have Chatterfang. They have 1 card in hand currently, effectively 2 once they draw for turn. We can play Chatterfang, and we can put Gigantha into our hand. They draw a card with Fiery Islet, 2 cards in our opponent's hand. They hit us for 7, down to 7. Okay. We draw Urza's Saga. Interesting. Let's go Chatterfang first. We can at least block these flyers quite a few times and also gain a bit of life. That's kind of nice, at least. Gallagher's triggers. We're going to make a treasure token. The treasure token's going to trigger Chatterfang, or it's going to have a replacement effect by Chatterfang, giving us another Gallagher's trigger. And we're going to gain 2 life this time. Let's play Saga. Let's... 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Just attack for 2. I'm going to plan on eating a food and also making a food with Gilded Goose here. And we get to do our Gallagher's Chatterfang thing again. Gonna block Murktide just to stave off some of the damage. Make a food token. Does opponent have removal? They did not. Excellent. Make a treasure. Makes a squirrel. Let's gain 2 life again just to be sure. I think it's a bit more important than damage right now. Opponent hits us for 2, down to 9. And... yeah, let's eat a food. Gain 3 up to 12. We draw Witch's Oven, that's not too bad. Witch's Oven, on top of having the normal Cauldron Familiar interaction, is also really good with Chatterfang because we can sacrifice a squirrel to get a food and a squirrel, and also trigger Gallagher's again. I'll keep the black mana up because of Chatterfang. Cast Witch's Oven, see if they counter it. They do. Okay. Go to combat. Attack, 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 attack. I'll leave back Dryad Arbor. I'd rather have the mana, or at least the possibility of the mana, than the damage here. Opponent's at 6. I think we might get this one. Expressive Iteration. Ledger Shredder. Okay. Opponent plays a Ledger Shredder, gets a Connive trigger. But will it be enough? Opponent plays Bauble. Bauble's us. What you got, opponent? Nothing. Excellent. So they can deal 5 to us, even if they have a land and a bolt, or land and double bolt, which they can't. We're good, so I'm not going to block. Or, Yeah, our opponent's at 6. Let's not block. Okay. We can gain more life anyway, too, just in case that is necessary for some reason. Opponent plays a land. Let's make a construct. It's big as shit. Get a Gallagher's trigger. Make a treasure. Get a Gallagher's trigger. Gain some life. Get another trigger. Gets a counter. Make a food. Aha, ha, ha. Got him. All right. So we're bringing in Pithing Needle because they're bringing in Engineered Explosives. We're not bringing in Engineered Explosives because they don't have 0 drops that we really care about. Nile Spellbomb would probably make sense, so we could bring those in. We could also bring in Fatal Push to deal with Ragavan would make sense. And Thoughtseize also kind of works. I think I want Thoughtseizes because they're going to be counterspell heavy. And I have to pick between Nile Spellbomb and Fatal Push. They're on the play, so I think I want Fatal Push. Let's get rid of... We want the Cauldron Familiars because they're really good against Ragavan. Let's cut one Witch's Oven. Let's cut... I think we cut a Jenny Fay, both of the Tireless Trackers, and a Gallagreators, because all these other cards are pretty core. Let's do it like that. Alright, reveal Gigantha. We have double Manufactor, Lannis, Pithing Needle, and Urza's Saga. We can't quite play the Lannis with our mana, but otherwise this hand's pretty strong, so let's keep. Opponent plays Monkey. I'm sad. I'd love to draw Fatal Push here. We do not. Let's play Blooming Marsh, play Pithing Needle. Go ahead and name Engineered Explosive. Explosives, yep. Alright. So turn 2 is probably just going to be Urza's Saga pass, unless we draw something to do. See what our opponent gets off the top of our deck. They get a Birds of Paradise. They're going to play our deck at us. Very sad. Misty Rainforest means we could play Lannis here. I think they have a Bolt Up, so I think it's probably better to just go Urza's Saga, although that means that we don't get to do Manufacture for a bit longer. Yeah, let's go Urza's Saga. It could give us some, it could give us a way to kill Ragavan and then also a creature after that. So I think it's worthwhile. Even though it self-destructs eventually. Opponent hits us for 2. I also didn't notice that they missed a land drop there. That's kind of nice for us. Sucks that they got our Birds of Paradise to deal with that, though. Opponent could play our Collected Company at us now. They missed the opportunity to, unfortunately. That would have been pretty funny. Let's see. We draw Grist. Good removal eventually. I think I'd rather just have the token here because they probably have a counterspell up. Or an Archmage's Charm or something. Archmage's Charm would be quite the blowout against us making a construct, but we will see what happens. They play Expressive Iteration. Trying to activate Delirium, no doubt. Looks like they will have Delirium since they put a creature into their graveyard with the Surveil. What did they reveal with Expressive Iteration? Snow-Covered Island makes sense. Good old Snyland. I feel like this deck could use a Shadow Spear in the sideboard. I didn't make a creature, I'm a fucking dumbass. Alright. Okay. I got too excited thinking about Shadow Spear, and I let my opponent hit me with Ragavan, despite the fact that they get a treasure and whatnot. At least they didn't get another Birds of Paradise to play with it, I guess. But we'll see what happens. They have 4 mana. Make a construct. They let us untap. Let's make another construct, I guess. Opponent bolts this one. Okay. So yeah, the Ragavan would have gotten in regardless, so now we're at the same board state that we would have been in. Get Witch's Oven. Play Verdant Catacombs. Pass. If they bolt our construct, we can just sack it and get a food, which isn't great, but at least is something. We still keep the same amount of rectangles. We need to take care of their board pretty quickly, because we're just getting beat down right now, though. And they have a pretty full grip still, unfortunately. They Surveil. They bolt our construct. We will sack the construct, make a food. Okay. Is it worth getting Dryad Arbor to just kill this Ragavan? Honestly, maybe. We're not doing that much otherwise. I'm going to try for it at least. Surprise Dryad Arbor? No more monkey, please? Sweet. Watch them just have another Ragavan anyway. Hopefully not. They did not. Fantastic. All right. That got us started at least. Now what? We drew Galagreeters. I think just going Misty into Manufacture is the right play. Because they didn't have removal there. They're probably going to counter something. And we have a second Manufactor. And this way we could go Galagreeters and Lannis next turn in some combination. Subtlety. Okay, now we're just dead. That wasn't fair. All right. Subtlety. Interesting. Maybe we bring in Scoos to keep them off of Delirium? That doesn't seem bad. It's probably better than like one Grist and... Galagreeters seems kind of hard to consistently get to happen against them, so I think we cut one of them. Maybe I keep in all the Grists because they're an answer for Murktide and their other flyers, since it straight up just kills a creature. And I get rid of all the Galagreeters here. Yeah, let's try it like that. We will take the play. Show them Gigantha yet again. This hand's pretty okay. We will keep. Otawara is nice to have against Murktide, possibly. Play Verdant. Crack. Get Overgrown Tomb. Yes. Play Birds of Paradise. And pass. So next turn we're probably just going Chatterfang or maybe Lannis if we drew a 1-drop creature. They play DRC. Okay. And then hopefully the turn after that we can resolve a CoCo. Opponent bobbles us. Let's see what they saw with Bobble. They saw a basic forest. We will play the basic forest. We will play Chatterfang. And we will see if they bolt it. I feel like if they had a bolt, there's a decent chance they would have just gone straight for bolting Birds of Paradise. Okay, they do have a bolt for Chatterfang. That's fine. Do they have a counterspell? They have a Polluted Delta. They get an island, and they consider. Okay, so we're going to get to resolve a CoCo. That's good news. And we also didn't have to use our Otawara yet, so I think I'm going to just hold that in hand for whenever they do play Murktide. They hit us for 3. We draw. Swamp. We're probably going to use the Verdant to get blue mana, so let's just go basic Swamp, Collected Company. Getting... Oh, we can go straight into Manufacture Lannis here? That seems pretty good. Because that gives us a bunch of resources. And if they guess wrong and pick Lannis as the thing that they get rid of, that's fine too. Okay. Any order. Get some tokens. And pass. Alright, what you got, opponent? Because hopefully we can do that some more times. If they let me keep Manufactor, I can eventually use Verdant Catacombs to get 3 more tokens by getting Gingerbread Cabin. And if they let me keep Lannis, I can use Verdant Catacombs to get Dryad Arbor to get an extra draw with the clue. Engineered Explosives. Okay, I guessed right about them having that at least. So it looks like they're going to get rid of all my tokens here. I'm curious if they have removal for the Manufactor as well. They attack for 3. Okay. Are they going to let me untap with the tokens? They have to pick between Engineered Explosives and removing a thing. If they don't have a land as well, that is. They play Murktide. Okay. That works for me. That works, that works. We draw Misty Rainforest. Okay. Let's crack a clue, draw a card. We draw Breeding Pool. Let's play out Verdant Catacombs. I think I want to just pass here. Opponent plays Scalding Tarn. Plays Ragavan. Okay. Goes to combat. Attacks for 6. Let's crack Verdant Catacombs. Opponent cracks Scalding Tarn. Okay. I assume they're going to remove Lannis in response to this since they saw the Dryad Arbor already. But we're actually just planning on getting a Breeding Pool most likely. It goes for Unholy Heat. We're going to let them Surveil first. Then we're going to Odawara their Murktide. Like so. Tap. 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 Bounce your guy. We have another Lannis, so that doesn't matter. And we're just going to get a Breeding Pool to fix our mana and make it to where we can get Gingerbread Cabin and get the full tokens from it. Play Misty. Play Lannis again. Gonna go ahead and get the token. Let's go ahead and go with Dryad Arbor since they don't know about Gingerbread Cabin, and since we have the Lannis for now. Do I want to do anything else? I could go ahead and pop the clue. I think that makes sense to do. Just to see if I draw anything else that I want to play. Grist, okay. That's something nice for the future, at least I can't quite play it here. I can eat a food in response to them popping Engineered Explosives if they do it immediately. Opponent has 3 cards in hand, one of them is Murktide. They have 4 cards in hand after their draw for turn. They play Expressive Iteration. They're getting closer to playing Murktide again, but I think we might be able to resolve this Grist because they won't be able to Spell Pierce it. And then we can start picking off their creatures in play, maybe including their Murktide. Opponent gets an island. They can play Murktide this turn if they want to. They attack for 3. We're going to take it because we can eat food. Let's go ahead and use a food and a treasure. Gain 3 life, since they're holding up the Engineered Explosives. We draw Fatal Push. That's a nice draw. They're holding up Counterspell. That complicates things a little bit. Let's play Misty. Let's... go for Fatal Push on DRC. They let it happen. Okay. Attack with Manufactor. Just the Manufactor, I think, is correct. Because I'm okay with blocking Ragavan with Dryad Arbor. I'd rather that happen than our opponent getting a Monkey trigger. Just in case they get something nuts off the top of our deck. And let's put Gigantha into hand. That threatens another Lannis trigger that our opponent can't really do anything about unless they counter the Gigantha. And we're not going to let them know about the Gingerbread Cabin unless it becomes correct to do so. Opponent attacks with Monkey. We will block with Dryad Arbor. So it looks like our opponent probably drew another Monkey is what that means, but we have a surplus of mana, so it's fine. I'd rather keep our opponent's board relatively clear if I have the option. Opponent plays Ledger Shredder. Okay. Mishra's Bauble. Are they going to go for their Murktide here tapping out? I wonder. They discard a Ragavan, so they did have a second one, but they didn't want it. I assume because of the Manufactor and the board being relatively clear otherwise. And I'm not going to crack Misty yet. I'd rather wait for Gigantha to happen. Because then I can get a treasure, play a land, and suddenly have enough mana to play Grist if they counter Gigantha. So let's play Gigantha. I assume they're going to counter it or at least interact with our board in some way in response. They bolt Manufactor. Let's crack Misty. Get Gingerbread Cabin. Get some tokens. Now because they only have 1 mana up, we're going to be able to resolve Grist. We get a clue token from Gigantha. Okay. We're going to investigate. We have another Lannis. Okay. Let's go Breeding Pool. Grist. They should not have a way to counter this. They get a Shredder trigger. They might be able to kill it with a Bolt, which would be a little annoying. But we have to get rid of this Ledger Shredder, otherwise it's just going to pressure our Grist. Minus Grist. Sack Bop. Shoot down Shredder. Okay. So I think our opponent is mostly incentivized to go pop Engineered Explosives to get the clues away, and then play Murktide next turn. So I'm just going to pass, because maybe we can cheat something into play with Lannis. And then that actually uses our clues in some way, at least better than 1 damage would. It's not particularly likely, but it's a look for 2. So it's kind of fine. Opponent plays land, plays DRC. Has Delirium. Opponent. I'm pretty sure they just go Murktide pop explosives here. Which is bad for us because we don't have flyers or a way to deal with that very effectively. We do need to draw something for it. But if we draw like CoCo or something, we might be able to get out of this. Alright, let's Lannis you for 2. I think we're mostly looking for like a Ledger Shredder here. But they have a few hits. Alright, we get a Mishra's Bauble. That gives us an extra draw at least. Let's Bauble you. We see a Misty on top of their deck, so they're not drawing anything useful, at least. And we're going to get 2 draws. What do we see? We found the CoCo. Let's go ahead and plus Grist in case we find another one, because we very much would like to. Let's cast Collected Company, see what happens. Academy Manufactor, Gilded Goose. That gives us a shit ton of tokens. Okay. That's great news. That also gives us a blocker and a way to gain life. Any order, we're going to investigate a whole lot. We're going to do lots of investigating. I love investigating, especially on this day. We get a food, that gives us a bunch of stuff. We investigate, that gives us a bunch of stuff. We investigate again, that gives us a bunch of stuff. Unfortunately, this Murktide is still brick-walling us. But if it attacks in, we can do something about that at least. Do I crack a clue here? I think I would rather just gain life. Most likely. Although we have treasures, so it doesn't really matter. Because I'm concerned about double bolt. They're only going to have 2 cards in hand next turn, though, so we can go ahead and crack a clue. If we hit a 1-drop creature, we can play it because it's free. We hit Chatterfang. Interesting. So we could play Chatterfang, get 3 Squirrels, get a treasure, a food, and a clue. We still have... We would die to... I don't think I want to risk it quite. If we attack for 5 with Gigantha, we might be able to kill their Murktide with Chatterfang. So I think that's what we do. Attack with Gigantha. See if they read us correctly or not. Because part of what I'm concerned about is them being able to Unholy Heat or Bolt the Gilded Goose. Alright. Fantastic. Let's go ahead and crack you. We don't have any more tricksy stuff, so let's just get a basic forest. Play Chatterfang. Get a bunch of triggers. Okay. Always Robot first. Then Chatterfang. So now we're in a spot where they have to have exactly double bolt because we get to do Chatterfang X1, sacking a treasure and a squirrel on Murktide. And then if they kill Gilded Goose with an Unholy Heat, we can suicide Chatterfang and both of these squirrels to kill DRC. Alright, so they have to have double bolt here. They attack. Okay. We will chump block with Gilded Goose. They're attacking Gris. I still chump block here. Opponent plays a Blood Moon. Well, we have forests and treasures, so that's kind of fine. It's a little bit annoying, but it's not the end of the world, at least compared to something that actually kills us here. Do I want to use the clues? Let's pass. I don't want to yet. I'd rather draw cards with the clues, I think. We draw Chatterfang. Let's make a couple tokens. Go to combat. Attack, 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 attack. Planning on using Chatterfang to gun down this DRC. Opponent goes to 5. Let's go ahead and crack 1 food just in case they get burn. And pass. Honestly, we don't even need to kill the DRC at this point because we can just keep gaining life. So maybe I don't do that at all. Because they could have double bolt and hit me with the DRC and I have enough life gain that it doesn't matter. Yeah, I think that makes sense, actually. Let's just go ahead and gain a life here. Be a bit more safe about it. Opponent hits us for 3, I don't care. hit Grist, whatever, at this point. Alright, cool. Taking down Murktide with tokens. I'll see you in the next one. Alright, round 2 with tokens. We won the die roll. We will reveal our Pokemon Gigantha. Dear boy. This hand's weird. It's got 2 powerful cards and a bunch of jank, sort of. Like, we want regular lands, but just straight up Urza's Saga that doesn't get that much in our deck, and then a Collected Company is kind of weird. I think I really like having Collected Company, but I think we just have to mulligan this because, well, it goes turn 1 Witch's Oven, turn 2 Unknown, turn 3 Make a Construct. I guess that's not that bad, right? You know what, fuck it. I like Collected Company so much, I don't really want to mulligan a hand that has it and can cast it at a reasonable turn. If we draw a Mana Dork, I will absolutely play it so we can play Company on turn 3 instead of just making a Construct, but we're on the play, so having Company just seems pretty good. And we're going to have 4 artifacts in play with Witch's Oven. Let's go Misty Rainforest. Get a basic forest right here. Play Witch's Oven. Pass the turn. Oh, I was just playing against this opponent. That's hilarious. We draw Breeding Pool. I suspect our opponent is on the same thing they were earlier. Let's go... Now let's just go straight for Saga. Pass. I don't know what does OIC mean? Opponent gets Ketria Triumph. Cracks a fetch, gets... What? I assume they're going to be playing Wrenn and 6 here. They get Blood Crypt. Play Wrenn and 6. Pick up a fetch. We don't do anything else on this turn. We draw Blooming Marsh, so we'll play that. Pass. Wrenn and 6 is a little annoying, I'm not going to lie. Opponent plays Fable of the Mirror Breaker. Okay. So we can maybe kill Wrenn and 6, but possibly also just hit this Goblin token. So we'll see what happens as far as that goes. Let's see what we draw for a turn. That's going to be the main thing that makes me decide what I want to do here. Witch's Oven. Well, that sucks. Oh my god, this Urza Saga is going to whiff. That's unfortunate. Huh. I think I want to wait on the CoCo still. Just make a construct. Nothing to hit, unfortunately, since we only have the 2 artifacts that Urza Saga can get in our deck. That really sucks. Play Verdant Catacombs. Get a basic forest, play Witch's Oven. Let's pressure Wrenn. Alright, so Depending on what our opponent does here, we should be able to play Collected Company next turn off of Breeding Pool. Let's see if they have creativity already. They did let me hit Wrenn and 6, that's kind of nice, so it's at least pressured down to where it's not going to ult sometime soon. They have 2 Archons in their graveyard. Okay, so they drew a bunch of those. Opponent. Cracks Bloodstained Mire. Gets a Dwarven Mine. So it looks like they're going to be able to make 2 Archons. They just make 1. Okay. Do I just want to make tokens with Oven in response? Probably not. I don't think I care that much about it. Let's get rid of Dryad Arbor. I'm probably just going to go for Collected Company main phase to see what I can do. Opponent's at 17, we draw Birds of Paradise. Yeah, let's just go straight for Collected Company, I think. Chatterfang Academy Manufacturer. Okay. Any order. So we can get a bunch of triggers with Witch's Oven, which is interesting. I could actually kill the Archon with... Yeah, I can kill the Archon. Let's do that. Or I think I can get close to it at least, because this makes 2 foods, which makes 6 squirrels. Yeah, let's do that. It's time to make some squirrels. Alright. What do we do from here? I can use Witch's Oven, sack a squirrel, make a squirrel, and a food. Don't really need to do that right now, but I could just go ahead and do that since I get a free food, essentially. So I guess I might as well. Oh, I get 3, yeah. Excellent. I think I just pass, right? I can kill both of these. Yeah, let's just pass. That was quite a good CoCo. How many permanents did that CoCo put into play? 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19? That's a good Collected Company. Alright, begin combat. We will remember to do this in the right order. Black. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Kill that shit. Kill this shit. Just in case it becomes relevant for any reason. Because I can't be having it around. Opponent does have a full grip still, so they could get another Archon possibly if they have 4 in their deck and they haven't drawn another one. But they have just drawn a ton of Archons, or at least they've discarded a pair of them. What you got, opponent? What you got, what you got? Another creativity. I think I have to sack the Chatterfang for this. Just in case they do have the Archon. They could be bluffing, but I don't think it's worth it. Alright, fuck off. Hopefully we can draw into stuff with the clue tokens again. Got him. Should have used Reflection of Kiki Jiki. Jenny Faye. That's interesting. What does Jenny Faye do for me here? I can play Jenny Faye, use it to kill Renin 6 because I can get at least 2 tokens here by playing Misty Rainforest, cracking Misty, getting Gingerbread Cabin. Okay. Use the replacement effect, get a 2/2 with haste, play Birds of Paradise, Witch's Oven, get a 2/2 with haste. Okay. Attack Renin 6, attack Renin 6. So now that's gone at least. Our opponent still has 5 cards in hand. All right. So we don't have any treasures, so we're not going to be popping any of these clues to draw a card this turn. Our opponent concedes. Sweet. All right. So apparently out of the 6 cards they had, they didn't actually have the action that they needed. They might have just drawn another Archon. That would make sense as to what happened there. Let's get Pithing Needle. Let's get... Engineered Explosives doesn't seem bad. Scoos doesn't seem that bad because of Renin 6, but I don't think it's that necessary. Thoughtseize seems pretty good. Nile Spellbomb I don't think I would bring in. Rexage I don't think I would bring in. Force of Vigor I don't think I would bring in. Fatal Push seems really niche because it just hits the tokens. I think I like Thoughtseizes, actually. Do I want Fatal Push? I don't think I need Scoos because I'm bringing in Pithing Needle. Cauldron Familiar is nice because it gives me a way to sacrifice things essentially for free. I think I cut a Birds of Paradise because of Renin 6, it's not so good. And I think I cut... down on Gallagreeters for the same reason. Tireless Tracker seems pretty good in this matchup. I don't want to cut all the Gallagreeters, I don't think, because it is a decent value engine still. Let's just run it like that, with the Pithing Needle and the 2 Thoughtseizes added, and then we can make more adjustments afterward. Reveal our boy. Yep. We have Witch's Oven, Chatterfang, 2 Grists, and a Needle, and 2 lands. I'd rather have some kind of ramp effect, but Needle works pretty well, since it means that we can just turn off Renin 6 and then possibly draw Birds of Paradise and do something with it. And Witch's Oven gives us a way to get value with Chatterfang. This is a very mid-rangey hand. Let's keep it. Verdant Catacombs. Let's get Overgrown Tomb, shock it in, play Pithing Needle on Renin 6. And pass. Let's see. So we can play Gilded Goose, we can play Witch's Oven. I think that's the right way to do it. Just get a basic forest here. Probably should have played Verdant and got a basic forest with that, but I don't think it matters. Play Oven. Play Goose. Say go. Opponent plays Fable the Mirror Breaker. Doing some self-promotion right here, sorry. Send. What you got, opponent? Nothing. Okay. Draw Gilded Goose. Do we just go for Chatterfang here? Chatterfang lets us kill... Does it let us kill the goblin? Not quite. Actually, Chatterfang does let us kill the... Well... Yeah, Chatterfang does not quite let us kill the goblin. If they get a treasure token, they could make a pretty big... How many Archons could they get? 2, possibly? Let's get Breeding Pool. Yes. I think the play is... play Gilded Goose, play Grist, sack one of the Gilded Geese to kill the token. Because then I have another Grist for later. Sack a food, make a Grist. I could also just plus Grist and plan on killing an Archon with it. Although I'm sort of just limiting the amount of Archons that they could get if I do it like this. Unless they draw specifically another fetch land and make 2 Archons like that. Yeah, let's just do it like this. Sack a Gilded Goose, get rid of the token. Okay. They can still get a Dwarf, which is sort of annoying. They get to Rummage. So there's a decent chance that they can get 2 Archons into play here, unfortunately. They discard a Wrenn and 6 and a Dwarven Mine. We guessed right with the Wrenn and 6. They play Arid Mesa. Alright, are we dead? I suspect that we are. Opponent plays Dwarven Mine, gets a Dwarf. Yep. I could have possibly picked off a couple Dwarves if I played Chatterfang. But I don't think that it was reliable enough since they still would have had a 2/2 and a clue. Yeah, they would have had a 2/2 and a clue, so they would be getting the same amount of guys anyway. Okay. Since we're sacking 2, we might as well make a token with Witch's Oven. Discard a Planeswalker. Discard, discard. I don't think we have a draw that can actually get us out of this, but we'll see. Draw Witch's Oven, and we scoop it up. Okie dokie. Cheerios got that one. Do I want to change anything? Maybe I cut the tireless trackers for fatal pushes so I have a bit more interaction. Do I want to bring in the Birds of Paradise again? Yeah, let's cut Jenny Faye and bring back the other Birds of Paradise so we can more consistently have it. Since we're on the play, if we go Birds of Paradise past, they don't get to play Wrenn and 6 until their turn 2, so we might get some mana out of it before they play Wrenn and 6. Reveal Gigantha. Pretty decent hand. We have double Urza Saga, which is a little weird. But it's pretty good with Academy Manufactor, so let's keep. So I'm going to get Overgrown Tomb so I can play either Fatal Push or Gilded Goose, and then I'm going to play Gilded Goose. And plan on playing Manufactor on turn 2, most likely. Followed up by some Constructs, I hope. If they kill Gilded Goose, we'll just go Witch's Oven off of Urza Saga on turn 2 and hold up Fatal Push. Play Goose, get a token, pass the turn. I love this deck, it's super fun. It was bugged for a little bit, where you couldn't use... Play Arid Mesa. It was bugged for a little bit where you couldn't use... Do I want to play Academy Manufactor here? I assume I still just do, right? It's better to play Birds of Paradise, Witch's Oven. I don't know. Academy Manufactor, I think there's a decent chance just eats a Lightning Bolt here. And then I still don't have the food from Gilded Goose. I think I wait on the Manufacturer. Weird as it is. Let's play Witch's Oven, because I think I want the Manufacturer to come into play and for me to be able to get value from it immediately. Instead of just running it out and passing. So it makes me play a little off-curve this turn, but I think it's worth it overall, especially since now if they bolt one of my creatures, I can get a food with it, and then my constructs are larger in the future. Let's pass. I'm also still holding up Fatal Push in case that becomes relevant, which it shouldn't on turn 2, but we'll see. Opponent gets a Ketria Triome. I think they're probably going to play Wrenn and 6 on turn 2. We will see. We will see, we will see. Also, an issue that I've had with this deck a bunch of times other than just Moto crashing is because of how click intensive it is, and also because your turns are kind of laggy sometimes, you use up your time very quickly, so you have to play kind of fast, or at least do more thinking during your opponent's turn and while they're doing their own actions. It's not something that I'm quite perfect with yet, but I'm better at this deck, piloting it at least, because I'm more familiar than with the Fiddlebender deck. I don't know what order those videos are going to come out in. I was actually planning on having this video come out first, which is a little awkward since this is my second match against Cheerios where I played against him last round last time. But that's just kind of weird. Cauldron Familiar, okay. Play Saga. Ticks up. Play Cauldron Familiar. That makes us a little bit impervious to Archon making us sack things now. So that's pretty nice. And also we have the Witch's Oven Familiar thing. Let's pass. This game's going pretty well for us so far. Our opponent hasn't really done anything, so of course it is. I mean, but still. Let's make a construct. Let's sack Familiar. Looks like they're going to bolt our construct here, possibly. I probably should have sacked the Familiar first. That was a little dumb. To make our play bolt proof. They get a tapped Dwarven Mine for some reason. I feel like that has to have been a mistake, right? I don't know why they wouldn't have gotten just like a shock land in that scenario. Yeah, oops. Okay. My opponent's been having some trouble today, apparently. He still beat me last time, though. Spoilers. Alright, I get a token. No reason to do anything with Gilded Goose. We untap. Let's see what our opponent does. They ice down this one. So we're going to go ahead and make a construct. That one is tapped. Collected Company, interesting. Urza Saga is going to ult. Give us another Witch's Oven. Let's put these on the stack. We could get Pithing Needle. I don't think we need the Pithing Needle realistically, since they don't have a fetch land in play, and round 6 isn't super threatening to us. I'd rather just have the Witch's Oven, so we have even more of that going on. What can I do here? I can make 2 mana. I can't play the Academy Manufactor. I can attack for 6. I guess I might as well do that. My opponent could go for an Archon off of a fetch land here, but I can just Fatal Push it away and then we win. So that should be it. I think my opponent misplayed getting a Dwarven Mine when they were planning on Prismari commanding. That would make sense at least. I assume this is Dwarven Mine into Creativity X1 here, but I think they just die anyway. What you got, opponent? They're thinking about it, possibly looking at the contents of their deck. I'm pretty sure we just get this, though. Unless they go specifically like Force of Vigor, which sort of resets us, but we still have an Urza Saga in that scenario. Yeah, they get Dwarven Mine, so it looks like they're going for it. Honestly, even if they get Archon here, we just get Cauldron Familiar back and sacrifice that to the Archon trigger, and then it's not really a big deal. And if not, we just slowly drain them with this Cauldron Familiar. What you got, opponent? They got an Explore. Okay. I think I want to go for the Fatal Push on their dwarf first. Well, they might have Prismari Command now, so we better wait. Let's Cauldron Familiar. Our opponent's at a pretty low life total, so even without our cards in play, they're eventually just going to die to this. Which is Oven away the Cauldron Familiar. Get back Cauldron Familiar. This would be a lot sexier if we had the Academy Manufactor in play, I'm not going to lie, but that's how it is. All right, cool. We're 2-0 with tokens. I'll see you in the next one. All right, round 3 with tokens, CoCo. We won the die roll. We will show our Pokemon Gigantha. All right, this hand's weird. So we have 2 lands, but one of them is Dryad Arbor, so it doesn't really count. But we have Birds of Paradise and Gilded Goose, so I think we keep anyway, especially since Academy Manufactor and Lannis are already in our hand. Yeah, let's just keep. I would very much like to draw a fetch land, especially because of this Tireless Tracker, but or a couple of fetch lands, I guess. Because I'd probably just play the fetch on turn 2 anyway. If this is Magical Christmas Land and we draw exactly what we want, being probably a land and then like a CoCo off the top as the dream draws, and then our opponent just isn't playing an interactive deck and lets us do our thing, then that's fantastic. Because, my god, this hand makes a lot of tokens. It does a lot of investigating. We can do a lot of investigating with this. Let's play Forest, play Bop. Second thing that I don't like about Gigantha in this deck is, Usually on our turn 1, if we had not revealed Gigantha, we would look like we're playing... Ooh, we found an Urza Saga. We would look like we're playing a... Well, what do I play because of that? I kind of think I just play out Tireless Tracker, because then I can go Academy Manufacture, Dryad Arbor, make a bunch of tokens. Yeah, let's do that. Uses the mana a little bit more effectively. I could also just wait and make a construct, and then have extra artifacts because of Tireless Tracker. And I'm sort of incentivizing my opponent to kill the Tireless Tracker here before I get cards with it. Opponent gets a Ketria Triome, gets a Steam Vents. What are they playing? What does Ghost play? They play a deck with Boseiju in it, apparently. And they're going to give us a free Tireless Tracker trigger, so joke's on them. This looks like it could be Footfalls pretty easily here, based on what we've seen so far. Overgrown Tomb is a little bit better overall, but in case they are Footfalls and play... In case they are Footfalls and they play a Fury here to kill my creatures, I think I want to get a Breeding Pool and just have it enter tapped. We investigate, we get a Blooming Marsh. Alright, let's go. Academy Manufacturer. Blooming Marsh. Lots of tokens. Play Lannis. Play... Oh, we don't get to play anything else because I already played a land drop. Never mind. Still, attack for 3. I thought I was going to be able to go Dryad Arbor, get 3 tokens, Gilded Goose, get 6 tokens there, but oh well. We'll have to wait for next time. I hope. We still got to use our mana very effectively there, so I'm pretty happy with it. Fabled Mirror Breaker. Is this creativity again, it looks like? Okay. We drew Verdant Catacombs. That's interesting. That means I get to... Oh, I can't get extra stuff here quite yet, so I might as well just go Gilded Goose. Get a few boys. I might be able to get one of my opponent's Archons into play with Lannis here. That'd be very funny. I'll have to wait until I get a few more clues, but still. Okay. Okay. Yeah, because Archons cost 8, I think. If I remember right. I'm going to check to be sure. I know what deck has them in it. Garuda. Yeah, they cost 8. Yeah, if they cost 6, it would be kind of insane. Go to combat. Attack. Attack. Three, 9. Okay. Yeah, our opponent can get an Archon here, and we don't care that much about it. We could deal 9 damage to our opponent here by Lannising at them. If we get a Wrenn and 6 in their top 6 cards, that would be kind of nice too. Getting an Archon would be so much funnier though. But I think they would have removal for the Lannis. Let's Lannis our opponent for 6. See what we get with it. Lots of Tireless Tracker triggers for all the investigating that we've done. Okay. Leyline Binding. Interesting. I mean, I will get rid of the token. Hit our opponent for 9, they're at 4. What you got, opponent? What you got, what you got? We have a big-ass Tireless Tracker trying to beat you down. They discard 2 Spell Pierces. They're using the tattoo art of it. How do you guys feel about the tattoo arts? I feel like they look kind of weird, but the Spell Pierce one looks kind of nice. It's neat, at least. I like a lot of the alternate art options that people have now through Secret Layers, even though I don't like all of them necessarily. And opponent concedes, sweet. That was a really, really big Tireless Tracker we made. All right, so we bring in Pithing Needle. We bring in Thought Seizes. And we bring in, I think we brought in 2 Fatal Pushes last time as well, right? Or did we just bring in 1? I don't really remember. Let's... How did I sideboard? I think I want the Fatal Pushes. Let's cut a Birds of Paradise since we're on the draw. Cut some amount of Gallagrators. Cut both Tireless Trackers. Try it like that. I think that's how I sideboarded for the most part against Cheerios, but I'm going to be honest, I got up and walked around a little bit, so I don't remember very clearly. All right, we have double Lannis, Birds of Paradise, Chatterfang. Birds of Paradise is a bit of a trap against Wrenn and 6 decks, at least on the draw, but because we just go Lannis into Chatterfang, we don't necessarily need it. So let's keep. And then we have Verdant Catacombs and a Breeding Pool for mana fixing if we need it. We draw a Gingerbread Cabin. Okay. Let's go Catacombs, get a basic forest. Play Bop, see if it gets bolted or Wrenn and 6'd away. Probably does. But we will see. I think I would most likely just go Lannis into Chatterfang no matter what. Because I'd like to get... Yeah, there's Wrenn and 6. Okie dokie. So current plan is... Ooh, we draw Collected Company. That's not bad at all. Play play Lannis. Probably gets removed. If it doesn't get removed, we go Chatterfang. If it does, we think about playing Lannis, but we might still play Chatterfang anyway. And then we play Collected Company on 4. Our opponent did not remove it. And we have a second Chatterfang. Okay. So let's go crack Verdant Catacombs. Do they remove it now? Perhaps. If they think we have Dryad Arbor. I'm concerned about our opponent being able to get an Archon into play next turn. Okay, they cast Fire on Lannis. That's fine. I think I still just play Chatterfang here. Because I have a second one and it uses my mana a little bit more effectively if they don't remove it. Plus Forest Walk is a little bit nice against them. Since they are playing a green deck after all. Maybe they just don't have the creativity yet, and we can get a little lucky since they had to interact. We will see. I'll play Scalding Tarn. It looks like they're going to have the Archon, unfortunately. And I don't think we have a way to very effectively remove it with just a Collected Company. Yep, we sack you. We discard... I guess just the other Chatterfang. We draw Otawara. That's something. That gets rid of the Archon, at least for the time being. Unfortunately, we have to use our Gingerbread Cabin to just get a food here. But we pass and our opponent doesn't have an Archon after their combat step anymore. It gets sent back to their hand. Fuck you. Otawara, for the most part, is not as good as Beseiju, but against specifically decks with Archon and Murktide decks, it feels fantastic. Opponent passes. Excellent. We could Thoughtseize them here. That'd be kind of funny to do. I could also just leave up Collected Company. I think I'd rather Thoughtseize them and possibly go for Lannis afterward. Prismari Command, Wrenn and 6, Prismari Command, Leyline Binding, Archon. They can get Archon back into play pretty quickly with this setup. So I think I have to just get rid of it. Go for Lannis, let them remove it most likely. With a Prismari Command. and then just pass. Because I have to get them to actually use their removal before I can set up a lethal board. The issue is how many cards they have in hand. Maybe I should have put my companion in my hand instead, since that uses the mana a little bit more effectively. I don't know. Alright, Prismari Command. Yep. Opponent loots. And shocks Arlanus. Getting rid of 2 lands. Makes sense because of the Wrenn and 6. They get a Dwarven Mine. Let's see if they get to put another Archon into play here because of their 3 new cards they've seen. They hit us for 1, down to 8. Okay. They play a Dwarven Mine. Are they going to get 2 Archons? Looks... Nope. They cycle Zaitor's Proving Ground. They pick it up again. So they're getting extra card draw with Wrenn and 6 now, and Wrenn and 6 is also at 6. So it is kind of close to being able to kill us. Let's just pass. A possible way that we could swing this game into our favor is by them going to combat on their turn, and then us essentially flashing in blockers with Collected Company. Again, we're sort of signaling to our opponent that we have CoCo because of passing with mana up. Prismari Command. Do I CoCo now? I don't think I do. Although they're going to have tokens anyway. Yeah, let's just keep passing. Opponent goes to combat. They could Spell Pierce us, but we'll just have to see if that happens or not. They could also remove our stuff with just regular removal spells since their grip is relatively full. It looks like they have the Spell Pierce, though. They have an Ether Gust. We'll put it on top. Let's see if we dodge them getting anything. They can Creativity X3 right now. And then that just kills us. Do they have it? They've drawn a bunch of extra cards. Okay. I'll let them show us the Archons at least. 2 Archons and a Sarah's Emissary. Good information. Okay. But we're still dead regardless. What do we want to change? Let's bring back the Birds of Paradise. Let's cut the other Gallagrators. Run it like that. Pretty sure that's what I did last time in game 3, if I remember right. I might have left the Gallagrators and cut a Ginny Fae, but I don't really remember. I don't think I did. Can we get there? Game 3 against them, I'm curious. I feel like there's an argument for bringing in engineered explosives, but the issue that I've had with explosives is that it just so consistently hits our stuff. So I don't really like it in the sideboard of this deck so far. I think I'd rather have it be like a Chalice or something like that. Double Thoughtseize, Urza Saga Academy Manufactor Lannis into color-producing lands. This seems pretty good, actually. Let's keep it. We're going to go with an Overgrown Tomb instead of Lannis mana here so we can Thoughtseize. This is one of the handful of scenarios where it would be nice if we had Watery Grave in our deck. But for the most part, we need more forests because of Gingerbread Cabin. Archon, Leyline Binding, Indomitable Creativity, Fable the Mirrorbreaker. Let's take Creativity, go ahead and get that out of the way. Pass. I'm going to play Scalding Tarn. We draw a Swamp. Okay. We might as well Thoughtseize on this turn, since we're not using the mana for anything else. And then I think we just go straight for Urza's Saga. Let's take Fable. It's probably the best card out of those. Play Saga. Pass. Played Bloodstained Mire. So they're going to be able to cast Leyline Binding, which is essentially an O-Ring for 1. We draw Blooming Marsh. Okay. Let's pass. Just going to plan on making a construct here. I'd rather them binding a construct than manufacture, so I hope that's what they go for instead. I think there's a decent chance they do that. Looks like they have Prismari command up, so we'll see what happens. I'm not going to just not play things, though. Gilded Goose, okay. That gives us a way to get blue mana for next turn, possibly. Do they let us tutor? They do. We don't have anything that we want a Pithing Needle right now, so let's just get Witch's Oven, since that gives us a way to get triggers off of Manufacture in the future. Let's play Gilded Goose. That can get our constructs out of bolt range if it resolves. Cool. What you got, opponent? I think they're going to binding this construct here. If they do that, we will absolutely sack it to the Witch's Oven. I hope they let it get up to 4 toughness first, so I get 2 foods off of it, but we'll see. But place Prismari command, destroying Witch's Oven. I don't really want to sack Gilded Goose to that, so lame, but okay. I didn't really expect that to be their play. That seems a little bit weird. Attack you for 3. So they still have the Dwarven Mine, the Binding, and the Archon, and 1 unknown. Well, they discarded the Archon, actually, so they don't have that one. They have Dwarven Mine and Leyline Binding, and some unknowns in their hand. They play Dwarven Mine, so we just know about Leyline Binding now. What you got, opponent? I need this Gilded Goose to produce blue for me, so I can go Lannis into Manufactor. So I think if they play Creativity, I'm actually... Well, opponent bolts a Construct, so they're not playing Creativity here, but they might have another... They will have another removal spell for the Construct one way or another. They play Wrenn and 6. They can Binding away the other Construct. They pick up their Foothills. Okay. We draw Birds of Paradise. Let's play Lannis. Well... Yeah, Do I go to combat first to see if I can get them to Binding the construct? Probably not the right choice. I think they're going to Binding the Lannis away. Although I'm attacking for the same amount either way. Yeah, let's attack Wrenn and 6 for 2 and see if they Binding it, because I'm kind of threatening it for 3. Alright, they let it through. Let's go Lannis. Swamp. Academy Manufactor. What are they Binding here? They could stop our triggers by binding Lannis, but then I still have Manufacturer and a way to make food with Gilded Goose, and then the Construct is also out of Wrenn and 6 range. So that's not that bad, compared to just losing the game outright, I guess. Opponent has 2 unknowns in their hand. They get another dwarf. Hopefully they didn't draw another creativity, because they could basically just kill us by... Looks like they have it, though. Alright. That's not good. Alright, they only got 1 Archon, actually. So that's actually better than I imagined initially. They have protection from creatures, though, which is an issue. What do I get rid of here? I definitely don't get rid of the Academy Manufacturer. I think I get rid of the Construct to keep the Gilded Goose. Opponent picks up Foothills. I think we're dead, but just in case we draw a CoCo and get, like, Grists or something, I'll stay around. There's a CoCo. I'm lucky as shit with this deck so far. Watch me whiff off of this still anyway, but... Okay, Chatterfang, Gilded Goose. I'm afraid that's not going to do enough, because protection from creatures is kind of getting us here. Because we can't block anything either. I guess I'll just make the tokens and show off a little bit. Yep. Get some triggers, hooray. Yeah, we needed to hit Grist and something else there. But oh well. Alright. Let's concede, because our opponent hits us for lethal in the air and we can't block anything. Scoop it up. GG's to our opponent. And I'll see you in the next one. Alright, round 4 with Toko Kokens. Let's reveal Gigantha. We won the die roll. 1 land, bunch of 3-drops, no ramp effects. Got a mulligan, unfortunately, even though I'd love to have all these permanents into play at the same time. Alright, we have pretty decent hand. Let's keep. What do I want to get rid of? Possibly a land? Even though that's a little bit weird. Yeah, I think I get rid of a land here, because Cauldron Familiar plus eventual Witch's Oven's really nice, and then both of those plus Chatterfang and Gallagreater is really nice, and Birds of Paradise sort of gives me the mana that I need. Let's put Breeding Pool on the bottom, so we can play Misty, get Overgrown Tomb, and because we put a land on the bottom, fetching doesn't actually change the amount of lands in our deck that we could possibly draw, so it doesn't thin us, and we do still want to draw land. What is our opponent gonna mulligan to? They mulligan to 6 as well, possibly further. We'll see. Looks like they're thinking about it. They're not playing a companion. Welcome sight. I feel bad when I'm playing a companion and my opponent isn't, because it makes me feel dirty. Opponent goes to 5. Hopefully they're not playing Tron, because I don't know what we do against Tron. At least if we do anything very effectively. Let's get Overgrown Tomb, shock it in, play Bop, and pass. Next turn we can go Gallagreators, Urza's Saga, Cauldron Familiar, not quite in that order. Opponent's playing Amulet. Oh, fuck. Okay. What does this change for us? We're definitely playing Urza's Saga, like no matter what. Let's go... Do I play Chatterfang? I don't think I do. I think I need to develop a board a bit larger than that and also get a treasure token here. to make sure that I have mana for the things I want to do next turn. Because then I can make a construct next turn, get a treasure token, make the construct larger. Opponent plays Dryad, plays Valakut, untaps it. Urza Saga goes up. We drew Gilded Goose. If we play Chatterfang, is there a way that we can kill the Dryad? I don't think so. Because we would play Chatterfang, get a treasure, get a squirrel. Yeah, that doesn't do it for us. So let's just go Gilded Goose. Get a treasure. Get a food. Pass. So we have to fade them killing us somehow here. They didn't have a second amulet on their turn 2, so that's good at least. Otherwise, we probably would have been dead. They played Gemstone Mine. They played Breeding Pool. Okay. So it looks like we are not dead here, because they have one card that we know about in their hand, the Selesnya Sanctuary. And I think we can just kill this Dryad now on our turn. Because we can make another treasure to replace this one. Make a construct. Yup. Academy Manufactor. Interesting. What does this mean for us? How much mana do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana. We can go... What are we doing? Do I just make a construct here? I don't think I do. I get Witch's Oven. I'm floating a mana. I play Chatterfang. 1, 2, 3. I have 1, 2, 3 mana up. I get a squirrel token immediately. I attack with the construct. During my opponent's upkeep, so they don't have a chance to use Dryad, I use Witch's Oven, sacking Cauldron Familiar, get a squirrel, get a guy, get a treasure token, get a squirrel, get a guy. Actually, Academy Manufactor makes it so where I can get mana off of Witch's Oven. So yeah, I'm gonna float mana here and go Manufacture Chatterfang. Get Witch's Oven. Play. I'm gonna make sure that I'm counting right. Yes, okay. I need more squirrels than I need other stuff. So let's play Chatterfang first. Yeah. Fuck. That's that wrong. Alright. Attempt number 2 of playing Chatterfang. Play Chatterfang. +1/+1 counter. Okay. Manufactor. Treasure. Okay. Robot first as always. Gain 2 life. Okay. Go to combat. Attack. Like so. I'm not going to attack with the familiar. Yeah. Just attack like that. Put a stop in our opponent's upkeep. During our opponent's upkeep, Oven Away Familiar. Makes tokens. Makes tokens. Makes a token. Gets a counter. Gains some life. Always healed. Always healed. Always yield. Okay, okay. Fuck you. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just in case they get a Valakut trigger somehow. To make sure they can't kill our Chatterfang. Because if they went land, no trigger, second land, they would definitely get a trigger. And we definitely don't want that to happen. Look at that board. That's an insane board. We didn't even have Lannis there. There wasn't any investigating going on, sadly. All right. So we're playing against Amulet. We bring in Rex Sage. We bring in Force of Vigor. We bring in, probably not Pithing Needle, really. Yes to Thought Seizes, though. Because they are just playing a faster deck than we are. Cut. Tireless Trackers. Cut. We probably cut at least one Cauldron. Well, Cauldron Familiar gives us the possible infinite combo. Jenny Faye's also kind of nice for that reason. I think we cut Gallagreators because outside of like specifically that kind of hand, I don't think we want Gallagreators in this matchup. And Witch's Oven also seems a bit on the grindy side, so let's cut one of them. Yeah, let's just do it like that. I like having Jenny Faye because that gives us an option to close the game very quickly. I pretty much never cut Lannis, Chatterfang, or Academy Manufacturer or CoCo since those are the core of the deck. Grist seems nice because it's a way that we can kill one of their larger creatures. We want the ramp, of course. Cauldron Familiar gives us triggers, but also a possible infinite combo. All right, this hand's really awkward because we don't have green mana, so let's mulligan. This hand's also a little bit weird. Let's keep this one, though. I don't want to go to 5. Opponent's going to 5. Possibly a nice sign for us. This Gingerbread Cabin's going to be really hard to activate, so let's get rid of it. Maybe we can fetch it out eventually, but I don't really want it right now. There's a lot of non-forest lands in this deck for Gingerbread Cabin. I'm kind of thinking that Yavimaya as a one-of would be a good choice. I'm not completely certain what I would take out for it, because I like both Dryad and Cabin because it's very cheeky. Opponent goes Forest Pass. They mulligan to 5. Let's go Birds of Paradise Pass. They might not have an Amulet since they didn't play it on turn 1, and that would be fantastic for us. Also, they are playing a very cool forest art from Dominaria. They did have an Amulet. Very sad. They play Urza's Saga. Maybe they drew into the Amulet. We'll see. We drew Force of Vigor. Stop on my opponent's upkeep. Is this considered a green card? I don't know. We will see. I would rather get rid of Dryad Arbor than Chatterfang, but I'm going to play Manufactor. Target. Yes. Dryad Arbor, coming in clutch for the Force of Vigor. Yeah, you can float mana. It's not the right time for that. Okay, they're Sagewing us. We will get a Breeding Pool tapped. Opponent has 2 cards in hand since they besaged us, and we have our mana now. So we can go Chatterfang, Cauldron Familiar at the very least next turn. They play a tap Talaria West. They have 2 cards in hand. We draw Cauldron Familiar. Let's go Chatterfang. Cauldron Familiar, no tokens off Chatterfang, but it's nice to at least have it in play for possible future use and beatdown potential. Opponent plays Gemstone Mine, 2 cards still in hand. Do they play Dryad? What the fuck is this? Oh, it's the Preordained plus Explore. Okay. Pretty cool. That card's really interesting. I wonder if, I mean, it's 3 mana, so I don't really think that Academy Manufacturer is a good draw. It doesn't give us any tokens immediately still, but it's something. Let's play out Manufacturer. Play out Cauldron Familiar. Combat for 4. Alright, if we make any amount of tokens, we're in a great spot. We're in a great spot anyway, honestly, because they have so few cards. They play Urza's Saga. Okay. That could give them a way out by getting an amulet eventually. We find Lannis, but we can't investigate with it immediately. We can go Lannis. We can't put Gigantha in our hand yet. So we're just going to have to attack with everything and play Lannis and hope for the best. I think that's fine. No real reason to play it a different way, I don't think, at least. Dryad Arbor being able to pitch itself to Force of Vigor and possibly also Endurance if we were playing that sort of puts us on a whole new level. So we actually have the infinite combo in play. We just need a Squirrel or a way to get rid of Cauldron Familiar. I might make another short video explaining how this works because I don't think I've seen anybody talking about it before. Okay. Opponent picks up Beseiju. That's sad. They're going to be able to get rid of Manufactor, and then we don't have the infinite combo anymore. Opponent's at 8, though. So they're just basically dead. We still can't get a token if we get Gingerbread House here. Yeah, there's not really a reason to do anything. Yes, we'll get a land. Let's get, I guess, another breeding pool since we already have double black. And hopefully we draw something that makes a token. If we draw an Academy Manufactor, we get to kill our opponent on the spot. If we CoCo into one, same deal. Chatterfang. Chatterfang makes one squirrel. This Chatterfang can get in for 3 no matter what. What do I do? Let's just attack with Chatterfang and the 2 Cauldron Familiars, I think. That way we're hitting our opponent for 4 and just pressuring them. I think I'd rather put Gigantha in my hand than play the other Chatterfang here, most likely. They trade for a familiar. They don't trade for a familiar. They thought about it, though. They do. Okay. That's fine. Yeah, let's just pass. We almost had the infinite combo. It's so unlikely. It's 4 cards. All right, let's see what our opponent does here. They're going straight for the amulet, not making a construct. That's possibly bad news for us. We're at 22, so we're not dead to just a prime time here. And they don't know it, but they are dead if they let us hit them with Chatterfang again. Because we can give it exactly +1/-1 by making a squirrel. I feel like they're probably going to gain some life here. I guess we'll see what they can get with this hasty prime time. I should have put Lannis in my hand. I didn't even think about it. Oh, I didn't have it because of Force of Vigor. Never mind. Not Lannis in my hand, Gigantha. But you know how it is. All right, what's our opponent getting? That will inform what I do here. I kind of want to have 5 mana up just in case I draw CoCo, so I can CoCo and then also activate Chatterfang. They're just getting mana. Okay. Yeah, I don't feel the need to block anything here. But it has 2 cards in hand. They got rid of their forests, so Chatterfang doesn't get in. Very cheeky. Alright, if we find a way to kill Primetime, or we draw Odawara or something, we're in a good spot. Are they going to put their forest back into play? That'd be hilarious. I can't imagine they will. They put Slayer's Stronghold back into play. Okay, that's fine. And opponent transmutes Talaria West, getting Summoner's Pact, I assume. Yep. What do we draw? Reclamation Sage. That's something, I guess. We can Rec Sage, get rid of Amulet, make another Primetime slightly less lethal. We get a clue. Let's just pass. I'm going to plan on drawing a card with this clue. We're in sort of an awkward spot right now. Opponent cast Summoner's Pact. I assume this is Primetime, if not Cultivator Colossus. They get Dryad of the Elysian Grove. Okay. So they're going to go for Valakuts, it looks like. They Slayer's Stronghold their guy. Let's pop the clue token now, just in case I get the other Force of Vigor, because that would be very sexy. If I can surprise get rid of Dryad. We do not. Very sad. Okay. So they're going to get 2 Valakut triggers, probably killing both Lannis and Chatterfang, I would assume. And I think, unfortunately, our opponent has turned the corner for this game, despite how well we were doing for so long. Oh, we were doing so well. They're also going to be able to get some more triggers with the Dryad because they haven't played a land yet. I think we're just dead, actually. Yeah, they're all going at our face. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, I don't know. Yeah, okay. We know our opponent has a basic force in their hand, so they'll be able to kill us with Valakut triggers even if we block. Do I want to change anything? Not really. Maybe I bring in Pithing Needle for Besage. That seems like a bit much, but it might be better than Witch's Oven. Nah, I think I'm going to keep it the same. Let's just run it back and see what happens. No Gigantha, very sad. I sort of would like to have a 3rd Force of Vigor in the sideboard. Being able to hit disenchant effects off of CoCo with Rec Sage is really nice, though. So I'm not completely certain. I also kind of think the Scoozes in the sideboard could turn into Endurances pretty easily, but then you have Gigantha less often. Alright, we have Force of Vigor, we have Renin 6 Lannis, Witch's Oven. I think this is fine. Let's keep. Our mana's a little bit awkward here, unless we draw another land. Let's just go Forest Witch's Oven. Hopefully they will Besage it or something silly. And I'm probably going to pitch a Grist to a Force of Vigor. Opponent plays Amulet. Okay. We draw Misty Rainforest. Okay. Let's get Breeding Pool. Yes. Play Lannis. Pass the turn. I'm going to wait on this Force of Vigor. I'd like to get at least 2 permanents with it. I mean, at least. I'd like to get 2 permanents with it. That does risk giving them Amulet triggers, but if they go Dryad here, I get to kill both Dryad and Amulet. And that hurts their game plan significantly more. Joint Exploration, okay. This might just backfire if they go straight for a Primetime. But I guess in that scenario, we get to untap and Grist at them. Yeah, they played Valakut. We definitely want to be able to get rid of Dryad. Which they might still play this turn. We will see. They dismember Lannis. We will Witch's Oven it away. Dismember is sort of a weird card for them to bring in, but I guess they just bring it in because we're playing sort of a creature combo deck. I feel like against us, the main thing that they want to do is just go as fast as possible. Dryad Arbor. Okay. Let's get an Overgrown Tomb. Play Grist. Plus the Grist. Pass the turn. Sort of leaning towards pitching Dryad Arbor to force again, just because it's a bit less exciting than another Grist is. Dryad Arbor does give us a way to get to 4 mana though, so maybe it's worth keeping just so we can force for full value. But I feel like we're going to need to use it sooner than that. Opponent plays Sun Home. Okay. They have 4 mana. They don't have another land drop yet this turn. Okay. Okay. Interesting. What do we draw? Overgrown Tomb. All right, let's plus Grist. Let's shock in Overgrown Tomb, hit our opponent for 2. Or hit our opponent for 1, rather. And now we can hold up Force of Vigor for 4. Which is just better than actually pitching something to it. Even though our life total is relatively low now. And we're very clearly signaling that we have a Force of Vigor. Opponent plays a second Amulet. That is worth getting rid of. Okay. Might as well let them do the triggers and stuff first, since we can't stop that from happening. And we'll see what they do afterward. Looks like they're going to go right for a Titan. But we can stop the Titan from killing us. They go for Summoner's Pact. Cultivator Colossus, okay. Get rid of these. We can kill the Colossus with Grist. They're going to be able to put some amount of lands into play, which I assume is going to be a disgusting amount. Gemstone Mine, yep. Forest, yep. That's it? Okay. Play Semet Growth Chamber. They play... Oh, that isn't it. They just got some triggers in play. My god, that's a lot of lands. That's too many lands. Stop playing so many lands. And the issue is now, because they got a Cultivator Colossus into play, even after we kill it, they have a ton of lands. They're going to be able to make a bunch of constructs with Urza's Sagas, and they're more likely to have more stuff to do next turn, since they just thinned all of the lands out of their hand. So that is unfortunate for us. I wish there was a way that we were able to kill our opponent with their Pact trigger here. Alright, we untap. What do we draw? CoCo, please? CoCo would be nice. Force would also be nice. We don't draw any of those, though. Let's... sacrifice an insect. Destroy you. Okay. Do I just play out the other Grists? I don't know. Let's play out Dryad Arbor. Go to combat. Attack for 1. I think I need to wait on playing out the other Grist because I think I need to possibly be able to kill something with this one. We're probably just dead. Maybe not literally this turn, but if they drew their 3rd Amulet, maybe literally this turn. If not, we're certainly dead the turn afterward when they get both their Sagas down and can also start attacking in with constructs. Okay. Sagas tick up. Yep. Yep. They play another Amulet. We might be dead here. Do they have a Titan? Because we have a very low life total. They have a Dryad. They play Gruul Turf. They get a Valakut trigger and an Amulet trigger. They've not played a land for turn yet, I don't think. They bolt us with Valakut. Makes sense. They pick up Simic Growth Chamber. Yep, yep. Yep, yep. So if they have a Titan, we're just straight up dead. If not, we're still basically dead, at least morally. I've been demoralized. They cast Summoner's Pact, and I assume they're going to show us a Titan, and if so, I'll just concede. Yep, okay. GG's to our opponent. That was a pretty fun match, not going to lie. I feel like we should have been able to get game 2, but our opponent was able to draw pretty well. Game 3, I might have misplayed by waiting so long, but I think getting rid of 2 amulets was still fine. And I'll see you in round 5. Alright, final round with Token CoCo. Let's reveal Gigantha. Our hand seems pretty solid. We have Urza's Saga, 2 on-color lands, all of our colors, Birds of Paradise, Collected Company, Chatterfang, and Cauldron Familiar. I think that seems pretty strong. Our opponent's on the play, so we'll see what happens, but let's keep it. Hit 8. Get rid of the stop on our opponent's upkeep from last game. Sayatora's Proving Ground. What does this mean for us? Hopefully it doesn't mean that we're about to get Wrenn and 6, but I feel like it might mean that. Let's play Birds of Paradise and pass. I'm gonna play Scalding Tarn. Plays what? Sacred Foundry. Wrenn and 6. Is this creativity again? I'm gonna be a little bit sad if this is creativity again. We draw Witch's Oven. That's not bad. Let's play Breeding Pool. Play Cauldron Familiar. Always Yield. Play Witch's Oven. Okay. Next turn I can go Chatterfang. Possibly. I'd like to get CoCo down. That's the reason that I didn't go for Urza's Saga there. Also, I'd like to have more meaningful sized constructs instead of going for Chatterfang anyway. Fable the Mirror Breaker, okay. Sack Familiar. Okie dokie. Draw Gilded Goose. We're definitely playing Urza's Saga here. We can get around some amount of Archon triggers, possibly. They could get 2 Archons if they go Creativity, and if they go Creativity after playing Fetch Land into a Dwarf next turn. If I play Chatterfang, I cannot kill a Dwarf because I'm out of mana. Yeah, let's just go... What the fuck? Cancel. Let's just go Birds of Paradise, Gilded Goose. Make a food. Pass. See what our opponent does. Hopefully we're left in a situation where we can get CoCo down. They discard Dwarven Mine. That makes me think that they didn't... Okay, they pick up Dwarven Mine. What am I thinking? They're just using Wrenn and 6. They attack for 2. Okay, they get a treasure. They're going to be able to get a Dwarf, and we'll see how many, if any, Archons they can get. Hopefully none, but I know that's not very likely. Because even if I can get around some of the sack triggers with Cauldron Familiar, I don't think I'm in a very good spot because I have to discard. It's not good. Not good, not good. Yep. Opponent gets 2 Archons. I think I'd rather concede than let them know that we're playing a Chatterfang Collected Company deck right now, because it kind of just looks like we're playing a Sacrifice deck. So let's just do that. Because we're definitely going to die anyway. Let's get Pithing Needle. Let's get Thought Seizes. Let's get Fatal Pushes. Let's cut you, cut you, cut you, cut you. This time I'm going to cut all the Galligrators instead of cutting any of the Birds of Paradise in Game 2, and we're going to see if it changes anything for us. Maybe I cut the Witch's Oven and keep the Greeters. Yeah, let's do that. I want to have 1 Witch's Oven just so we have at least 2 things for Urza Sagas to hit. Reveal Gigantha. Alright. Wish me the best. I would love to get a decent result with this deck. The mana's a bit too awkward with this hand because this is a Gilded Goose, so I'm going to mulligan it. I don't want to go further, so I'm going to keep. And we're going to get rid of... what? I think I'd get rid of the Grist. Because Collected Company, Academy, Manufacturer, Lannis is a very strong start, and Fatal Push gives us some interaction that we're going to need. Let's go ahead and get Overgrown Tomb, so if they get rid of Birds of Paradise some way or another, we still have Fatal Push up at least. And pass. We really want to draw lands. Really, really, really want to draw lands. I would love to draw lands, and I would love to dodge removal some way or another. That is not a land, but we will go for Lannis anyway. Double Academy Manufacturer, not terrible as long as Lannis sticks around somehow. They've got to have bolts for us, though, I'm sure. And we don't have... even if they don't have a bolt for Lannis, they probably have a Wrenn and 6 for Birds of Paradise, and we don't have a land yet. So that's not good. Not good, not good. Wrenn and 6 gets rid of birds. We found a land. That's something, I guess. Attack. Wrenn and 6 for 1. Pass. I'm not going to crack this Misty yet, because I want to increase the chance of me getting a land if I can. That's a lot of Academy Manufacturers, but we are just really not doing anything with it. Let's attack Wrenn again. Keep it off of down ticking at least. We don't really care about the little bits of damage going at our opponent. So if we draw land, we get to play Academy Manufacturer. If they don't interact with either Lannis or Manufacturer in response to the trigger, we get a Treasure of Food and a Clue, and we can hold up Fatal Push still. And then that lets us play Collected Company or just more Manufacturers. Plays a land. They're not going for creativity yet. It's a little unfortunate. I would have liked to use the Fatal Push there. Attack Wrenn and 6. I think they're going to wait in Creativity X2 to play around Fatal Push, unfortunately. It picks up a land. plays it. They have not played anything to make tokens yet. That's really weird. And they're not playing removal either. They discard to hand size. What do they discard? Wooded Foothills. Okay. We draw Gilded Goose. That investigates with Lannis at least. Let's attack for 1 first in case they have removal for Lannis. I thought I was straight up dead, but my opponent seems to have just not drawn creativity yet, so maybe we can keep getting lucky and dodging that. Let's get some tokens. We're going to investigate. Doing a lot of investigating today. Not as much investigating this game as I would like to be, but maybe one day we can get there. Opponent picks up a land. Plays the fetch. Fetches down to 13. Gets a Dwarven Mine. Okay. Plays Transmogrify. Hopefully they took out the Spell Pierces after game 1. We will see. Get Overgrown Tomb. Fatal Push your guy. Please work. Please work. Okay. So we want to draw a fetch land here. I think is the #1 thing we want. Witch's Oven. Okay. What does that mean? We can play Grist. Just get rid of the Wrenn and 6. That's not bad, honestly. We can play Academy Manufactor, get a bunch of tokens. Maybe we just go straight for Manufactor. Because they apparently haven't had the effects that they need to yet. Let's go to combat first. Attack Wrenn and 6. Put it down again. Somehow they haven't drawn removal. They must be drawing like just lands or their Archons and lands. Play Manufactor, see if they do anything in response. They do not. We don't have anything to play really, unfortunately. Let's go ahead and play Witch's Oven out in case they get removal, though. So we can at least turn whatever it is into more treasures. If they somehow just don't do anything for another turn and don't interact with us on our next turn, I think we might just be able to straight up win the game. Because triple Academy Manufactor Collected Company and a Grist is kind of fucking insane. They get a Dwarf token. Do they have another Transmogrify? Perhaps. They Creativity it. Okay. Archon. Okay. Let's sack Gilded Goose. Let's discard one of the manufacturers, I think. Because we need Grist and Collected Company, I'm pretty sure. Because we need Grist to be able to take care of this, and Collected Company gets us other stuff, potentially. Alright, come on, don't have anything. And let us draw land. Fuck. Alright. We're going to get some resources at least. We can still Collected Company, and we can definitely still Grist, but we need a creature to do anything with it. Opponent Wrenn and 6s, okay. What do we draw? Collected Company. That's not what we needed. That's not what we need. That's not what we need. So we're going to take 9. We can pop a clue. Take 9. Yeah, let's pop a clue. See what we get. We get a Gilded Goose. I think the treasure's safer than the Gilded Goose because of Archon, so we might as well just not play that yet. We still need to find another land, though, so we can do anything. If we find a land, we can go Gilded Goose, Grist, kill your Archon. Get rid of a Collected Company. God, we saw the light at the end of the tunnel, too. It was so close. We're at 2. Do they have a Bolt for us? They have a Besage. That gives us a land, hilariously. So that's actually not that bad. Get a tapped Breeding Pool. Do they have Burn? They pick up Besage. Are they going to Besage us again? No. They discard to hand size. Discarding Scalding Tarn makes sense. Do I just go for CoCo and hope to get a Grist off of it? I think that might be the play. Because since they're icing my land, I don't necessarily get to do what I need to do as far as playing Grist and then also a creature to sacrifice. So let's just go for CoCo. Let's try to high roll it. They might have a Spell Pierce, hopefully not. Please don't have a Spell Pierce. The Spell Pierce. No. What would we have drawn? We would have drawn a basic land. We could have gotten there. We did not. Okay, so it didn't matter. GG's to our opponent. So close. Oh my god. GG's, GG's. Alright. So yeah, this deck's super fun. It's definitely really weird and high rolly. I think I'm going to make more content on it in the future after I customize the list a little bit to my own liking, but I've just been screwing around with it like this, and I've been having a ton of fun with it, so I think you guys probably would too. You don't get to see Urza Saga decks that also play Collected Company all that often, and these cards together are just hilarious as well. And I'll see you next time.
Hey everyone, Shoe Nice again. Well, basically, go subscribe to Tezzey's YouTube channel, and for those who made it to the end of the video, thank you!